Welcome to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement, part of the Treehouse Podcast Network. I'm your host, retired Officer Steve Rutherford. Co-host for today, Josh Jackson.
What's up, y'all?
Josh, you look awfully tall
Thank
over
you.
there.
I'm trying to stand up taller and make you feel shorter.
It's working.
It's a power trip thing, sorry.
Wow, it is working.
All right, good.
Now, we got two guests joining us in studio today. Oh, come on, man. We got to keep on going here. Two guests joining us in studio. We've got David and Kelly Gelsthorpe.
Perfect.
Hey,
Perfect.
I've had some tricky names on the show lately.
That's true. I keep it simple with Jackson.
Yeah.
So
Jackson, you and Joanne both.
yeah, that's true. We're no relation.
No
that
relation.
we know of.
Maybe we should look.
Just
Maybe we should look into that one. So, what's this? I'm getting something on my computer. Looks like we got some breaking news out of Cancun, Mexico. Are you seeing that, Josh?
I do. It's weird.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Offbeat's very own Detective Curtis Hadley is standing by live in Cancun, Mexico. Let's go to Curtis now. Good. Curtis, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me, Steve?
Yes, I can't hear you. What can you tell us about the situation going on in Cancun?
I've got some breaking news for you, Steve. I'm here in Cancun, but I'm here with some friends of ours that are from the UK, and they were telling me of a really harrowing story that happened. Their plane, which was a massive plane coming from UK to Cancun, had to be diverted to Canada because of a medical condition. But luckily there was a nurse on board that was held there for her. Her name is right here. Hi. This is Susie Ingram. She was on the plane when this happened, and she was also able to go give us an account of what happened. Also, we have the Normans right here behind us. They're from the UK as well. Susie, what can you tell us about this?
Well, I was just sitting in my seat at the front, just trying to go to sleep, and I was. I'd
She was
had
drunk.
a few gins when suddenly they shook me awake and said that there was a medical emergency at the back. So up I went. And there was a young lady who had a lot of drugs on board, and she was out cold, unconscious. And yeah, we worked on her for an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours before we landed in
Canada.
Where is it? Canada.
Canada, they landed.
Yeah. Newfoundland in Canada.
And
This is after we had an aborted takeoff.
Yeah.
Then we had to land in Gander.
Yeah, they had a horrible trip, and then when it was all said and done, the girl just got off the plane and ran. They don't know where she went.
Yeah.
She just ran. She eluded the cops.
Yeah, she did. And she didn't have a passport or anything.
Yes.
They still had all of that.
All we know is she might still be running right now.
Well, depending on what drugs she took.
Yeah.
So that's all I have here in Canada, guys. Are y'all doing okay there?
Wait, you're in Canada?
No, sorry.
No.
Cancun. Yeah, totally forgot. See, that's how harrowing this thing is.
Did you get to keep some of those drugs? I'm just never mind.
No.
Well, Curtis, you stay safe, sir. Thank you for going to Cancun on assignment for the show. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you paying for it.
I was going to offer it to Josh, but I didn't want to mess up his routine, so we figured we'd send you to Cancun instead.
It's great
Thank you,
tax
guys.
write-off.
I took one for the team. Thank you.
All right, now I must ask, referencing back to a previous episode in which it was referenced that you might be wearing a Speedo. You have...
He's got his mankini on.
See?
Oh.
A mankini is what they call it.
But okay.
It's not on right now.
But yeah, no. All right. Well, Curtis, you guys have fun. Stay safe down there, and we'll see you in the studio next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
The guy's having too much fun, really.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Company expense.
Well, take a check. Okay, getting back to it now. In studio, we've got David and Kelly. David, you are retired as an officer, correct?
Well, it's funny. That's probably an episode in itself. So yeah, I retired, and I'll use air quotes, even though people may not be able to see us, but I did 21 years in Coppell, most of that on motors, and I did commercial vehicle stuff and screwed with the big trucks. And then I left and went down to Joshua, the big city down in Johnson County, where the meth is best, and spent 7 years there, and I spent the last 3 as the chief of police before I retired the second time. And this one almost as similar as the first one. So one of these days I'll actually get an actual party hosted by the city or by the department, but I have a problem keeping my mouth shut and calling it out like I see it. My favorite way to start conversations, typically with which in this case was city management, city council, is let me tell you something you need to know about you. And so that's typically how my careers end, or my tenures end in the 2 cities I've been in.
But to be fair, that it was not just admin; that was public too.
Well, yeah, it did. And it was, yeah. In fact, both of them involve council members.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
Yeah.
And we can tell that story in a little bit.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah.
The council member story. I like this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Now, Kelly, you're retired as well?
Yes, I am.
Now, you're not law enforcement,
No.
but where did you work?
I also worked in Coppell. I did a little over 20 years there, and I have 24 years total as a firefighter.
As a firefighter.
Yes.
Very good. I think, Kelly, you're the second firefighter we've allowed in the Offbeat studio.
I feel very privileged.
Oh, if you're not watching on YouTube, you should be, guys.
That's right.
You would definitely want to check out the show on YouTube.
You see how much taller I am than Steve,
And me.
and Kelly, and Dave,
Yeah, that's okay.
and Karen. It's okay.
I'm kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that. So, Kelly, you said 20 years? Okay.
Well, I did 24 total, but I did 20 of it in Coppell.
Okay. Did you guys meet when you're in Capel?
We
We
did.
did.
I will tell you this. You guys are very brave to be a married couple coming on the show. The last married couple, we renewed their vows on the show.
Really?
And then left them handcuffed together for the remainder of the show. So we do have...
Hang on.
Was
hang on.
it soft cuffs or?
Yeah.
No, we couldn't find the fuzzy ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had to go full metal on them. But yeah, so if you guys ever are thinking about renewing your vows, we do have a minister on staff. His name is Dan O'Malley. Dan performed the services for our last couple. So yeah, let me know. We'll hook it up.
Absolutely.
Now, Josh, you obviously were a motor for the Capel Police
I
Department.
sure
as well.
was.
So I can only make the assumption that you and David worked together.
Not only did we work together, he was one of my training officers when I first came to Coppell.
Do you accept responsibility
I
for
do
this? Okay.
I do not. And there is a reason why. So, and early on in Mr. Jackson's career, when he was in FDO, and I think we were doing a little bit of traffic enforcement.
A little bit. Dave was a little passionate about that.
I had an affinity to issue citations. Let's put it that way. And I think we were doing a commercial vehicle stop at the time, and I don't remember what kind of truck it was. It didn't matter. It's a commercial vehicle, and let's just say
fair game.
I get a little excited on commercial vehicles.
That's kind of awkward.
Well, it is, but I'm playing with short decks, so God did not give me at least in that part of it. So it wouldn't have mattered. Nobody would have seen anything anyway. I couldn't have offended anyone. But yeah, we were issuing citations to the driver, and I think we were 6 violations in or so.
So it was back with handwritten tickets. So yeah, remember that joy. So you can only write so many on one citation.
Yeah, but you could bust them out a lot faster than those digital ticket
Could,
writers.
but you still had to handwrite them, and we had already issued 2 with, so I think 6 violations probably. And Dave so casually says, "All right, go get another ticket book from the car." And I said, "I don't have another ticket book." And he goes, And went and sat in the car, said, "Take me back to the station." That was the end of my day that day.
That was it. And it reflected negatively on his DOR for that day. That a true motor jock, true traffic officer never, ever runs out of citations. You can run out of bullets, but you never, ever run out of citations.
3 departments, Steve, 3 departments, all those trainings. Even forgot my gun belt one time. Went into briefing, borrowed it from another guy, and didn't get in trouble for that one. But 3 departments, 3 trainings, and that was my one write up was from Dave. But we're still friends today.
Allegedly.
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 Yeah.
But we should still keep you guys at opposites.
That's the
opposite
reason.
ends
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
table.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I'm still a little upset.
Wait, so you actually forgot your gun belt and had to borrow one?
Yeah, so I went to my wife's grandmother's house in South Fort Worth, and I was like, I'll just leave for duty from there. And I realized halfway to Coppell I forgot my gun belt, so I borrowed it from another officer and got in the briefing, and we had a sergeant that was fantastic, and he that day decided that was an equipment check day, and so I raised my hand sheepishly and said, I'm borrowing somebody's gun belt. And I told him which officer, and he goes, oh, that's good. If you're going to borrow from somebody, that's who you want to borrow from.
So you fessed up to it.
I fessed up to it. I didn't even get in trouble.
I've been in a locker room before shift once and had a fellow officer freaking out because he left his gun at home and was looking for a gun to borrow from somebody.
Replacement.
Yeah.
They're all the same. Except for a small serial number, sergeant's like. So, but anyway, yeah.
Now, Kelly, you guys ever come across anything funny?
Probably a little bit. A lot of it would just be mostly medical calls that can be pretty entertaining.
Entertaining medical calls. Can you share any with us, or is this a HIPAA thing, or?
Not really.
Okay. Let it fly then.
Usually the best calls are the ones where usually it's an older person and they don't ever die really in their bed. They die in between the toilet and the wall while they're pooping. And so in general, they will make a poop angel in between the toilet and the wall. And so it really adds a little something special to CPR.
The glamour of a firefighter.
It is. Yes.
That's right. You go from a recliner
That's
to a
right.
poop-filled
To poop
bathroom.
angel.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
The joys.
A poop angel.
A poop angel.
Yes.
Or
That's actually my Christmas card I'm sending out this year. Can't wait to send it to everybody.
I'm not sure you're old enough yet, but it'll still be interesting.
It's a scratch and sniff
You
card.
can find anything on Amazon Prime Days just for around,
right.
So
corn not included.
yeah.
Poop angel card. Remind me if
Scratch and sniff poop angel card.
yes. If I go out to the mailbox and I see anything with your name on the return address, I'm
That's okay. I'll put Mark Lemon's name on there.
There you go.
referencing back to a previous
Yes.
guest, Mark, as well, who has sent me something with a return address of, I don't know, some kind of used sex toy company. Thank you, Mark. Shout out to you, brother.
And the best was your family wasn't surprised.
No, they just weren't going to discuss it. I realized I need to check the mail. I don't need to let the kids check the mail from now on. So, what other stories you guys have of you two working together? Josh has shared with us many times that his motorcycle did not come with a kickstand.
Well, and so I made a list. I'm not gonna lie, I thought about this, and some of these are Josh stories, and I wanted to make sure I included some Josh stories that he may not have included.
Outstanding.
Because Josh was an easy target.
It was.
He is still naive, very gullible.
Yeah.
And so one of the stories, and then we could probably switch over to some stories that involve Kelly and I together on scene. But yeah,
Excellent.
one of the better stories is when and I don't know if I guess we were on Beamers at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know exactly the one you're talking about.
there we go. Because you didn't tell this story last time.
No, I
did you?
didn't.
So we were using the BMW shop over in Fort Worth, and we decided that we were going to send Josh over to the BMW shop, to get summer air put in his tires on his motorcycle.
Because I had winter air at the
Because he
time.
had winter air at the time.
Now, to preface, I had never ridden a motorcycle, so all I knew was I have two wheels, and that's all I've got. So I looked to Dave for comfort and advice.
No.
And he was like Dave is like the king of sarcasm, and just very calm, casual, delivers it just like he's ordering his coffee. Well, he doesn't drink coffee. Dr. Pepper. Diet Dr. Pepper.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
And so, we decided we were going to send Josh down for some summer air. And so we sent him on his way, and we were pretty good friends with all the mechanics down there. And so we went ahead and let them know that Josh was coming down for his summer air.
which if you don't know is 45 minutes.
each way.
Yeah,
So Josh went down for summer air
I did.
and came back, and we never were able to pull the blinker fluid or the headlight fluid on him. I think he was a little bit wiser than that, but we definitely got him with the summer air.
Yeah, yeah. And then when I got down there, the mechanic said, I hate to tell you this, but you got to pay that out of your own pocket.
So you had to buy the summer air.
He didn't let it go that far, but yeah, no, he had fun with it too. It was an all-in event.
But you made it all the way from Capella over to Fort Worth
Sure did.
to go get your summer air.
To change out my winter air to my summer air. Yep. Yeah, that's true. True story. I will validate that story. So,
Well, and I mean, is there a cutoff date when you need to make sure that you get this done? I know what kind of air you got in your car out front.
it was a hard lesson to learn, but it was an enjoyable ride. It was a BMW. It was a highway drive, so we had lots of GPS trackers on our bikes, but so it wasn't speeding, but it was just casually driving to Fort Worth.
But and that's practice. That's practice in the saddle.
Absolutely.
And he needed it.
Yeah.
Josh needed every minute of saddle time.
Yep.
So.
He has shared stories with us about arriving on scene at all these calls and just throwing his bike down. Did everybody else throw their bikes down too?
No, none of us had issues with that. Josh had this knack for forgetting to put his kickstand down, and so he would just step off the bike, all 6'5" of them, and the bike would 6'6". I'm sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
I didn't want to short you that inch.
Yeah. Inches matter.
There
That's
you
what
go.
she said.
Inches
That's
matter.
what she said. There you go. That's right. But he had an affinity for just letting his bike fall over, and so he had the biggest piece of crap in our fleet because he had more scratches and dents and dings. His brake lever, his clutch levers were all bent.
They were
Bent to
awesome.
hell, and he just like he didn't care.
Yeah.
And
I actually also want to mention I dropped one of the bikes as well.
Did you?
Toby. I thought it would be, he had it parked outside, and I thought it would be fun to see how heavy the bike was. So I lifted it and did the kickstand, and it just fell over.
And it falls.
Yeah, and then I couldn't pick it up.
Yeah. Yep. That's the first thing you do in motor school, actually, is pick up the bike.
yeah.
So.
It's very interesting how you guys do it. I'm not sure how you stood yours back up without a kickstand and all. But yeah, kick out the kickstand, go the other side, and put your back into it.
Yeah. Well, and there was one time we were chasing a car. I can't remember what it was for. Came around the corner. It was a PT Cruiser, and I had thrown my bike down, but the camera's still going. And on the camera, you could see and hear Dave walk by and go, every effing time.
Yeah.
So
it was Josh, and Josh had this, and might as well just keep kicking him.
Yeah.
Kicking him in the
Yeah,
nuts.
this is fun. Let's keep going.
So Josh, we wore modular helmets, full face helmets, and for whatever reason, Josh could not figure out that the face mask, if you will, the front part of it actually came down and clicked into place. And so Josh, for whatever reason, just liked to leave it up and thought that he could then talk on the radio at 60 miles an hour. And so all you got was a bunch of
Yep.
and Josh being 6'6", not 6'5".
Thank you, sir.
He acted like a freaking parasail when he went down the road. And so he's driving down the road, and think of him, we used to call him the giraffe because it would stretch his neck out because the wind would catch this modular helmet and just pull it up against his chin strap as he went down the road. And it just, for the 15, 16 years you were there, or however long it was, you could never figure out that the front of that helmet actually went down.
That's the reason we went to 3/4, because they gave up hope on me.
Yes.
So
It was Josh proof.
it was Josh proof. So
Very nice.
Again, validated story. That's all true.
Oh yeah.
That's what we like. All right, guys, we'll be back in just a minute.
Planning for the future is challenging, and getting where you want to go in life requires strategies built around your unique financial needs. Alexander Financial Management is here to help you reach your goals. As fiduciaries, Alexander Financial Management will pursue the best solutions for you, no exception. While their decades of experience and service are available to everyone, Alexander Financial especially wants to help first responders and their families. The founder is a former police officer, and the executive team includes a retired fire captain and a retired police officer. Their extensive background in public service gives a deep understanding of the public retirement systems of Texas. So for retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, and estate planning, Alexander Financial Management has your back, so you can look forward. Get more info at alexfm.com. That's alexfm.com. Investment advisory services offered through Transcend LLC, a registered investment advisor. TE3 and Alexander Financial are not affiliated entities. Insurance products and services are not offered through TE3, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents.
And we're back. Back to more Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. I'm your host, retired officer Steve Rutherford. Co-hosting today's show, Josh Jackson.
Howdy, y'all.
And we have two guests in studio with us today. We've got David and Kelly Gelsthorpe.
Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Depends on what time. I guess what time you're listening.
Yeah, depending on when you're listening.
If you're on dope time or regular time, I guess it.
That's our best client, our best reviewers, right?
That's
The dope ones.
Hey, for those of us that are retired, who cares?
All right, guys, this segment sponsored by our good friends at Alexander Financial Management. If you have questions about retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, or estate planning, check out Alexander Financial Management at alexfm.com. Now, David, you and Kelly are married. You're a retired officer. Kelly, you're a retired firefighter. You guys ever have run into anything funny together on the job?
We did some stuff together long before we were actually married to each other. I'd like to tell people she chased me for about, 15 years, 15 years before we got married. I think she had a crush on me. I don't know if it was the motor pants, the boots, or whatever, but
It was the motor pants.
The motor pants. There you go.
They're pretty tight.
They were, well, yes. And we're gonna leave it just. Let's
stop it there.
Yeah, but no, years ago when we first got motors going back in the early 2000s, I did hang out at the fire station quite a bit. It was, kind of a good place to hang out because, they fed you and for the most part, if you knew them, they didn't screw with you too bad. Too bad. If they didn't know you and or they didn't like you, you would find things on your car, in your car. You might find your gun disassembled if you were taking a crap and left it out.
That's not right.
But it would happen quite a bit. But yeah, I used to go by the fire station and let Kelly and one of her cohorts there run radar for me. And so they would stand out on the road in front of the fire station, run radar. I would park the motorcycle off back, and then when they'd catch a speeder, I'd take off and go stop them. And the best part about it is I would wear a Superman cape, and so I'd go after people wearing the Superman cape. And go write them tickets. And believe it or not, I never got complained on.
A Superman cape.
Superman cape, absolutely.
But weren't you challenged in court?
I don't remember if I was or not.
I think you were.
Because
they were trying to say that we weren't smart enough, because we are firefighters, that we weren't smart enough to run the gun.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember.
Anybody here have any comments on that?
Well, it's a pretty simple operation. I think even a firefighter can do it, just like a caveman can. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So, but yeah, we used to do that. And then some of the other things that we did, in fact, one of the LEU rides to DC, Kelly did, guess the support for his food or equipment, whatever you were doing. And I was on motors doing the motor
I
stuff.
thought I rode in that, didn't I?
No, that was the Texas rides you rode in.
And just to give our listeners a background, LEU, Law Enforcement United, a nonprofit organization that takes place every year during Police Week, or kind of to kick off Police Week. And it's bicycle riders, first responders on bicycles riding to honor our fallen across the country, that right into Washington, D.C. to kind of kick off Police Week, if you will.
But I was doing motor escort, and we rode into D.C. I think right there at the very end, we're riding to this is the Lincoln Memorial is where we ended one of the rides one year, and Kelly happened to be on the sidewalk, and I rode up next to her and just took my helmet off, gave her a big old kiss. And much to the amazement of everybody around her, I said, "Hey, it's good to meet you." And then I rode off and left it at that.
And then I said he was my brother.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the kind of shenanigans and tomfoolery that we're pretty notorious for.
Yeah, I can validate that as well.
Yeah.
They were always fun to work at a call with.
Yeah.
Well, Very good. And Kelly, I understand the fire station. You guys are really tight. You really get to know your coworkers there. At least in law enforcement, at least we get to, we all meet for briefing, then we jump in our cars and we disperse for the rest of the day. But you guys are kind of always confined. I mean, hell, you even ride around in cars together. So
Yeah.
anything funny? I mean, within that fire family that you've seen in those close quarters?
We do spend about a third of our lives together because we do work 24-hour shifts. And some people probably get a little bit more comfortable around the fire station than others. So I have a couple stories. One is called Sugar Nuts.
Sugar nuts.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So we had a guy that really liked to keep his man business powdered up and nice and dry for our hot summer days.
Twig and berries.
Twig and berries, yes. So you'd walk in the bathroom, his shorts are around his ankles, and he's just powdering those boys up. And so we decided it would be more funny if we switched it to powdered sugar. And so we had Sugar Nuts.
There's some sweet nuts.
Yeah, sweet.
And this is just, I get it. You guys are close. You're like family, but he just did this in front of you?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. But that's not the only thing. We're a part of each other's journeys. You get to hear about their families and their kids, maybe weight loss journeys. So we did have a guy that was desperately trying to lose weight. I think he was maybe broken up and he was trying to get back to date weight. So he was taking his protein powder and working out super hard.
Yeah, he's trying to look good for the dating world.
He is
trying to lose some weight.
That's
tone
it.
up. Okay,
but it's a little harder to do when you switch it out with Weight Gainer Plus.
Awesome.
So he got pretty heavy before he figured out that we had messed with him.
Oh, the joys.
Yeah. So yeah, idle hands.
Yep.
This is what happens when you're family.
Yep. It makes me wonder what pranks y'all pull on each other at home.
Not a whole lot. Not
a whole lot.
pranks.
No,
No, I mean, it's
because you're
there's a
both
constant
formidable
barrage.
opponents.
Yeah,
There
there's
is
just a
some ball
constant-
kicking
Yeah.
for sure.
Constant barrage of donut jokes and stuff like that. And then, and I'm always wearing her out about being a second responder because, FD has to stage
True.
before
Sure.
BD can go and, secure the scene.
Yeah.
So they don't get a hangnail or something.
So David kind of walks
You don't want
into
that sugar powder to get
Yeah,
wet.
exactly.
That's
so-
correct.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could turn into biscuits.
Yeah, absolutely. That's nobody wants that.
No.
So like whenever they get home from the store, whatever, David goes through the house first. He opens up the door, looks in. Okay, Kelly, it's clear. Come on in.
It's pretty much how it is.
every day.
So
Now, Josh, you've had some experience on the fire/EMS kind of side of stuff. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, so we all have experiences that way. But there was one time we had, I think it was I can't remember. It was a medical call, and I thought I had formed a good connection with the lady. So I rode in the box to Baylor Grapevine, and
the box being the ambulance.
the ambulance, and turned around, and the fire guys were gone, and so was my ride. And so one of the nurses goes, "Where's your ride?" I said, "I have no idea." So I didn't have to Uber back. One of the other boxes came around and took me back, and got some good laughs at that. So, but I can't remember who it was, and it kills me not to remember. But the police guys love that story. So,
Wait, and you know that they knew you were with them.
absolutely, yeah.
It's hard to miss a guy that's 6'6".
And I was wearing a
point.
yellow uniform at that time. So,
And they're like, screw him. Check this out. Let's ditch him.
yeah, that's great. No hard feelings. I think it's great. So,
You think it's great? I'd be pissed. I mean, I'd get a motorcycle and go throw it down in front of their station or something. I'd try to make some kind of statement.
yeah. There were a lot of people that were happy to see. I think Dave and I both leave because even as officers, they were worried about citations being written. So,
correct.
yeah.
Correct.
So, and again, I was trained by Dave. I was not born this way. I was created by Dave.
That's right.
So, yeah.
And if my size 11 had to get off of a motorcycle or get out of a car, somebody was getting it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You leave your shade tree, somebody's getting a ticket.
That's right.
So free
Now-
advice on this show. Don't speed around shade trees in the summer.
Shade trees. Or fire stations. They could
Or
be
fire
out there with
stations.
they could be out there with a radar instrument themselves.
Absolutely.
Any other stories of you guys working together? I'm looking down there. You've got a whole list of stories.
I
you wrote
do,
with.
and some of them are, are good. I mean, most of these are stories about me, not necessarily with the both of us, and then a couple of these are with her as well.
Well, I will say, at least for the fireside, it was always entertaining to watch David out on a call, because if you poke the bear long enough, he can take it for a while. But then it's like a light switch. It flips and it goes from nice David to not so nice. And I can remember one specifically, because we would actually, as soon as we were waiting for the wrecker, we would just kind of, just sit there and wait. And it was a lady, I think it had been raining out, and she rear-ended somebody. And she kept arguing with him about she wasn't speeding. And David's trying to explain to her, you were still going too fast for the situation. And sure as we expected, all of a sudden, light switch flips, and he's like, that's it, you're getting a ticket. And he goes back to the motorcycle, he writes her a ticket, and that was that. But, it was always kind of fun to watch him go from nice to evil so quickly.
But he was always nice about it.
He really was.
Yeah. It was never, I mean, the sarcasm, if you knew Dave, you could say, let me tell you, go to court with Dave, and then the prosecutor, which we won't name names because he's still there, he was also very sarcastic. So watching him and Dave, the judge would have to shut him down. It was fantastic.
Yeah, we tended to feed off each other. And, the sarcasm would fly, and it was amazing. And not to pat myself on the back, but I do have the remarkable gift of insulting people long before they realize they've been insulted.
Yep.
And by then it's too late. And so I've unfortunately, call it a gift, call it a curse, I do have that uncanny ability.
I was working a wreck with Dave, and he goes, I'm just feeling nice. I'm not going to write any citations. And the people just wouldn't listen. And they just kept arguing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he goes, I believe all of you, none of you at the same time. And then he got his ticket book.
And I'm the guy that would write tickets to both parties at the crash.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it didn't matter what contributing factors. If there was a contributing factor and you pissed me off,
Yep.
Everybody got paper.
He walked around the car and he found
No.
Dave knows the transportation. He may have written the transportation code. So
Sorry, your brake lights are more than 27 inches off the ground, or
wouldn't that surprise me for a second?
yeah.
And then I got into commercial vehicles, and it was just game on. And you could stop an 18-wheeler, write 26, 29 violations, put it all out of service, put the driver out of service, and still get a handshake and a thank you.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Never did that, but yeah. I mean, it sounds like you were born to be a motor officer.
I was until I wasn't, because that sarcasm and saltiness and anger got the better of me. And then you directing traffic at an Easter event, and you call the wrong person a dumbass for trying to drive the wrong way in one way, and that dumbass turns out to be a councilman. It makes for a quick retirement. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. All right, word of advice to our listeners: if you are an officer, make sure you are familiar with your council members and
Correct.
what they look like.
Correct.
It's a good point. Very good point.
And I was about to ask you about that since you had mentioned your council story. So, council member driving the wrong way, going to an Easter event.
Yeah, we were having an Easter event, and he decided that he would just go the way he wanted to because he was a council member, and he was just parking right over there. And it's always, I'm just got to go right there. It's just always right there. And unfortunately, I was working that particular intersection, and I let him know. Again, like I always like to start my conversations, let me tell you something you need to know about you. Mm-hmm. In that case, you're a dumbass. And it didn't take long. And I think it was within 2 minutes, I was already getting phone calls and having to write memos, and that was the beginning of the end, which is okay. I have lots of good stories.
It's the beautiful things. The people of power, I don't know if I should say it. People of power sometimes feel like they're entitled, And there's a park. Yeah, I know. And there's a park in my last Fair City that the gentleman who has his name attached to those, I talked to him on a couple of occasions. And the second time, both speeding, he told me that he and I had a historical relationship, and I wrote him a citation.
Historical relationship.
Historical relationship. So
now, Kelly, let's get back to you real quick. Again, I don't even know. I don't even know how to lead into this. You had told me another story, in addition to the sugar nut story. Just
Our personal time.
Yeah.
Right.
Let us have it.
Okay.
Kind of, but
you
but
asked
not
for
kind
it.
of.
You asked for it. So we had a guy who felt that he needed to have naughty time with himself in the bathroom.
At work.
At work, of course. Yes. It's hard to go without for 24 hours.
And that's okay. Well, you guys are 24 on, 48 off, that kind of thing.
It can be a really long 24 hours, I think, for some people.
And very lonely, apparently.
Very lonely, yes.
How can it be lonely? You're with a whole group of people.
Sometimes people feel lonely in a full room.
Oh, you hate to see that with a fireman. Oh.
So he was doing that, and he decided that he needed to record it and send it to his girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back here. He needs to handle up on some personal.
Rough up the suspect. Yeah.
keeping a PD terms.
Yeah, I just wanted y'all to feel welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not only does he feel the need to do this at work, but he feels the need to produce his own evidence of such act.
We're not all smart.
Okay.
So,
I've got nothing there.
Okay. So he recorded it and sent it to his girlfriend, who was married.
Oh.
And she didn't get a chance to open that email with that beautiful video, but her husband did.
I bet he was just overjoyed to receive the fireman taking care of his personal business.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
And he actually did. He sent it to our fire department secretary.
And I'm sure she appreciated that as well.
She opened it and saw it. So I think that she's been in counseling ever since.
Oh, yeah.
Because, that's got to be damaging.
Just not what you expect on an email.
You can shut your eyes, but the images are still there.
They burn in.
It is.
Burn in.
And again, I thought they just had their own individual recliners and played video games all day.
I mean, they're playing.
Sort of.
He was playing, but he was playing alone.
That'd be a joystick.
One person game.
Yeah.
Single player. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
See, and now none of us know what to say.
No. And I imagine the secretary felt the same way. So.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I bet the husband didn't, though. I bet he had lots to say.
I think he said it all with the email.
I think he did.
To the secretary. So.
Yeah.
I guess the only way you could have done that even better is just send it straight over to the fire chief.
Yeah.
Oh God, that'd be horrible.
Yeah, there's sometimes we hear stories on the show, and I'm like, "Hey, do you have photos of that or whatever that we can share?" I don't want that.
I didn't either.
No.
If anyone has that,
Nope.
we do not want it. Okay, that's God.
Nope.
Anything else at fire stations we need to be aware of or not be aware of that goes on?
Just a lot of pranks.
Pranks are good. Pranks.
The hazing. Well, we kind of had to stop with the hazing.
That's a very tough word.
It
there,
is.
Kelly.
It is. But hazing's over now because people would kind of get their feelings hurt. But the hazing was pretty great when I started. They douse you with water. You just keep taking your shirts off, and at some point you run out of your own shirt. So then you just start wearing other people's shirts.
You guys really are a close-knit group there in the fire department.
They are. Yeah. And sometimes they allow PD in, right?
We did a little bit, yeah.
Certain people.
Certain people. Yeah.
That's right.
Wow, David wanted to be a part of this, so yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
It's the secret desire to be a firefighter. It lives vicariously through Kelly.
He's actually fought some.
I've actually fought
He's
some
actually
fire.
fought some fire
Yeah.
on his own.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
I probably fought more fire than probably a lot of firefighters. So, like I said, when you move down to Johnson County from Dallas County and Denton County, things are a little different.
Yeah.
People are a little different down there, and so yeah, you end up going on calls, and it's a fire call, and the only guy that shows up is the guy driving the fire truck, and he's got to work the pump and work the levers and all that good stuff. And so the only people that are left to actually put water on the fire are the cops. And so I did spend quite a few time putting out grass fires and house fires and all that good stuff. So I did get to live the fantasy a little bit, but it's overrated.
But you didn't get the prank side of it.
No, I did not. I did
Well,
not.
he was maybe the victim on occasion.
Was I?
I don't know. Because the KY on the door handles and the
Donuts,
the donuts on the
car antennas.
car antennas was always fun.
Yeah.
Donuts on the car antennas, but KY jelly on door handles?
Please refer back to my first story. The KY was necessary for normal operating duties at the station.
I got nothing.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, the first few episodes of the show were always like poop related somehow. I don't know if we're going backwards or forwards.
They're still poop stories.
But there's always more poop stories.
Yeah. There's always. Yeah.
But the poop angel, I mean, that's
It's a good lead in.
It is. And there's always the Poo-rito.
The Poo-rito story is pretty good.
I don't know that one.
Is this a fire story also?
Yes.
All right, Kelly, bring it to us.
So we went to an apartment in summer. I'm just trying to set that up for you. It was very hot outside, and it was very hot in the apartment. I don't believe she believed in air conditioning. And so when we opened the door, this dog comes running out like, praise God, you opened the door so I can get some fresh air. And we open that door, and it's very hot in there, and it smells not so much like a fresh turd, but like maybe a 24 to 48 hour old turd. Okay. And then there's a lady laying on the floor wrapped up in a comforter. And I'd like to remind you again, it was warm in there. And she had crapped in her comforter because she'd been on the floor for 24 or more hours. The truck crew, which are supposed to be like the finest, the strongest members of the fire department, they were out front barfing in the bushes. So they weren't as helpful as I would have liked them to be. So the two smallest people in the department, myself and another firefighter, were stuck picking up the 300-pound woman wrapped in a comforter with her own poop. And I just, for an extra visual for anybody, the poofing of the comforter as you were lifting her really added a level of smell. That was enchanting. I think is yes, it was wafting.
The wafting of
the wafting of the poo.
That should be a T-shirt.
It really should.
The wafting of the poo?
The wafting of the poo.
Or poop angel.
Or poop. I think Poo Angel actually would make a
Maybe
great
a poo
shirt.
angel on the back.
Yeah.
Your own motor club.
Is this going to be featured on the website? Now offering apparel.
That's right.
Yeah, Poo Angel.
That's right. Swag.
Brought to you by
Swag.
brought to you by Poo Angel.
So you guys, you had to take her out of there, obviously.
Actually, we just put her back in bed. We didn't really want her in our ambulance for obvious reasons.
Man,
There was really nothing wrong with her except that she smelled bad.
This is one of those where you're like, okay, if you sign here, you're declining transport. We really need your signature right here. Matter of fact, just give me your hand. Here, hold the pen.
Correct. And as we're leaving, you can see the dog carving "Help me" with his nails in the wall. Like, please get me out of here.
Even too bad for a dog.
All right, we'll be back. Let's talk to Daniel Cook now from Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. 833-COOK-DFW is the phone number. The website is cookdfw.com. Now, Daniel, I have a question for you about insurance. My policy just recently changed, and it pretty much doubled. Have you been seeing that in the market?
Steve, that's not the only thing we're seeing. We talk to clients obviously several times a day, and I would say 70% of our business is insurance related. And so when we start diving deep into people's policies, asking them what kind of coverage, if they know, or when the last time they filed a claim or anything like that that's pertinent to their current situation, we find out that a lot of people's policies are changing without them knowing, and that's scary. So prime example, had a client recently in Frisco. They haven't had a claim since 2016, and they've carried the same carrier now that whole time. So going on 8.5 years or so. Their policy has gone up every year, a little bit, but in the last couple of years, it's gone up almost $1,200 each time. And then this recent renewal, which just happened in April this year, they never looked. They've had a 1% deductible the entire time they've owned their home. Their carrier automatically switched them to a 2% without them knowing.
Wow.
And so now not only are they paying more for their policies, now they're going to have to pay more out of pocket when they have an occurrence. Well, they didn't know any of this, and they filed their claim. So when the adjuster came out there, he gave them their paperwork, said, yep, you definitely need to have your roof replaced. That's going to be something that, is definitely needed. They wrote them up for some other things. I think they needed some fence repair and some screens. I think they had some gutter problems. So they wrote up this nice, beautiful insurance claim to protect their property. They didn't know that they had a $12,000 deductible now.
Wow.
And so they got surprised with a $12,000 deductible after paying almost $6,000 a year for insurance. So yeah, that stuff is happening a lot. So please tell all your listeners, go check your policy, figure out when it's going to renew, check your coverages, make sure you do your research. Don't just think that your policies are going to stay the same. They're not. So please go and find out.
Call the experienced team at Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing, remodeling, or restoration needs. The number is 833-COOK-DFW. Again, that's 833-COOK-DFW. The website, cookdfw.com. Be sure to ask about their free first responder upgrade. Welcome back. Welcome back to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. We've got two guests joining us in studio today. We've got David and Kelly Gelsthorpe.
Nice. That's it. Gold drop.
Gold drop.
Gold drop.
Gold drop. You might as well just change your name. Gold drop. That's
way cooler.
It is.
Way cooler. Or Big Bear.
Big Bear
family.
So. Well, great having you guys on the show today. I do want to let our listeners know, if you have not been to the website, check it out. offbeatcopshow.com. Again, that's offbeatcopshow.com. You can view and listen to all previous episodes there on the website, as well as subscribe to the email list. So check it out if you haven't yet. Also, if you're an officer and you've got a funny story you'd like to come on the show and share with our listeners, send us an email. offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Again, that's offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Guys, check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. You can watch the show on YouTube. So give us a like, a share, a follow, whatever, a thumbs up, whatever the heck all of it is.
Fair enough.
And if you watch on YouTube, you can see that Josh is overly tall.
That's right.
Which I've always wanted to ask you. When you rode a motor, did your feet just drag the ground? Or?
Just his knuckles.
That was because I was laying the bike down.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I definitely swallowed the Honda. The Harley fit me okay, but the Honda and the BMW I swallowed. Yeah, it looked like a big kid on a little the little bike that we all
Shriners.
Yeah.
Shriners. But I like the bikes that we rode around. We're all about that age, and we would slide the wheels.
A big wheel.
Big wheel. Yeah. That's what it looked like. So.
And he needed training wheels. It probably would have helped significantly.
Well, no. Whenever you were on these different bikes, did it help when you put like the winter air in? Did it elevate the bike?
It really did. It made a huge difference. So I was thankful that I was led in that direction.
Got your feet up off the ground.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. No, David, have you ever gotten in trouble at work?
Oh, yeah. Which time?
I can validate that as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Oh, well, I'll tell you a funny story, and it did lead to a written reprimand, and it's fine. It's probably one of my better ones, and I'm actually somewhat proud of it. But coming into work one morning, we rode motors home, and so we started shift at 6 a.m. And so I was coming in one morning and coming in on the north side, and a call came out a little bit before 6 a.m. about a barking dog, which is the perfect call for a motor jock to go on, is a barking dog complaint. So, but I was close. You know what? I'm a team player. I'm gonna take the call for patrol. That way, Deep Nights doesn't have to come out and take it. The day shift guys are, still in briefing and trying to figure out whose gun to wear because they left their gun belts at home and that sort of thing.
That's right. We're making our coffee.
That's it. And so I'll take the call. So I roll up to the house, and sure enough, I can hear the dog barking from the street. So, I politely walk up in my motor jock swagger, knock on the door, and homeowner comes out, and I said, "Good morning. This is who I am. This is why I'm here. We've had some complaints about your dog barking, your neighbors. I can hear the dog barking from the street. We're just asking if you can maybe do something about it. Not let the dog be outside or whatever. Whatever you can do, so just to kind of maintain peace, in the neighborhood." And she didn't like that. She didn't like me. I don't know if it was my cool haircut or mustache or whatever.
It might have been the boots.
It could have been the boots. It could have been the boots. And
Too
the bike.
authoritative. Yeah.
Well, that's a good word. I've been called much worse than authoritative. That's fine. That's fine. So she proceeded to begin to argue with me, and I'm trying to. This was before de-escalation was actually cool, but I'm trying to diffuse it, trying to talk to her and go, look, if your dog's barking, if there's issues, animal control might be able to help you out. Just anything we can do. Your neighbors are upset, and rightfully so. It's early in the morning, and your little ankle biter yapper is carrying on and all that. So she wasn't going to have it, and so she pulled out the classic "I pay your salary" line. Oh. Well, my taxes pay your salary. You can't tell me what to do line. Well, as has been alluded to earlier in this show, the switch flipped, and I went from nice guy to mean guy, and so I very casually reached into my pocket and asked her to hold out her hand, and I placed a quarter in her hand, and I said, "Here is the part of your property taxes that pay my salary." I said, "So shut that dog up, or I'm going to stroke you a ticket, and I'm going to impound that thing and take it to animal services." And I turned around and
carry
walked
it
off.
on the bike.
And carry, yeah. And so I promptly turned around and walked back to the bike and got on and rode to the station for briefing. And by the time I got to briefing, of course, the phone calls were already made. And so, yeah, I got a written reprimand for that one. But I think it's the written reprimand every cop in his career wants to have.
Absolutely.
I just had the cojones to actually do it.
Yeah,
The sugar balls to do it.
That's right.
That's
Sugar
right.
nuts.
Sugar balls.
Sugar nuts.
Sugar nuts. Sorry. So.
Everybody's heard that. I pay your salary. You
Yes.
hear that a lot. So that's nice. You donated that payment back.
I gave it back to her and said, we're even now. So
Huh, we're all flush.
yeah,
Dave was a problem solver.
I was.
I
was.
Now Kelly, did you ever get in trouble also?
Just a few times. Interestingly, I think I'm the only one to get put on paid leave 3 times and come back every time. Once was for wearing earrings.
That's
So,
pretty offensive.
I know.
Yeah, I would have been
That's pretty
offended.
It was.
If my
yeah.
house is on fire and you came to put it out and you're wearing earrings, you know what? Get back in your truck and leave. Come back when you don't have your earrings on.
That's it. Yeah. And I've heard that dozens of times in my career. But I think the theory was that the earrings could melt. But I felt like if we got to the point that the fire was so hot that it melted my earrings, that we'd probably have some bigger things to worry about than my earlobes.
Yeah.
So
Okay, well, so it sounds like you guys were a match made in heaven. You were made for each other.
All they needs the handcuffs on the show.
Yeah, we just
soft ones.
And you're
please.
assuming that we don't.
all right,
Valid
guys.
point.
Very good. Well, Kelly, David, it's great having you on the show today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm 100%. Thank you.
Absolutely, guys. Until next time, stay safe and watch each other 6.